Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. Here on Savor the Ozarks, you've learned all about the National Restaurant Show in Chicago. In another episode, I talked to a couple of exhibitors from Missouri who were part of the show's Taste of the States Pavilion. But now for something completely different. The NRA show features both food and drink, of course. So today's episode is a conversation with someone you may have heard of, Tony Abou-Ganim, a.k.a. the Modern Mixologist. He has written books. He has his own line of bar tools. I first saw him featured in the 2013 documentary, Hey Bartender. Then I saw him on MasterChef America, and eventually I met him after attending one of his mixology sessions at the NRA show several years ago. His resume will astound you. He is immensely talented and really, really fun. So cheers to this engaging conversation. Okay, it's day 2 of the National Restaurant Show in Chicago with my friend, I'm proud to call you my friend, Tony Abou-Ganim, the Modern Mixologist. How are you?
Joy, I'm so good. So much better now that I'm seeing you. It's been way too long.
It's been a long time. I think I met you at this show, what has it been, 10 years ago anyway, probably.
It's been at least 10 years because for the longest time I judged the cocktail competition here with Ben and would always present on the main stage. And then COVID kind of derailed everything. So this is my first year back since COVID, and I'm doing my Art of the Aperitivo seminar on the main stage tomorrow. I'm very excited. And working with Steelite International because they partner with me on my line of professional bar tools.
Go to your website. Go to Tony's website. It's modernmixologist.com, yep. Correct? And you can learn all about your history and your products and what have you. But nobody mixes a cocktail like you. Just a few minutes ago, I watched you mix a couple of them, and you nail it every single time. And I blame you for the reason that I'm hooked on a Negroni. You do remember that year, right?
I do remember that year, yes. It's been way too long since we've shared a Negroni, and I was kind of and always have been on a personal mission to educate people on the Negroni. It's my favorite cocktail, and until recently, there was little knowledge about the Negroni in America, and I just fell in love with it in I'm going to age myself here, 91 in San Francisco. And back then, nobody knew how to make a Negroni. So I set out to, like I said, make it my mission. And I'm flattered that you remember that and you're still a fan.
Oh, I am still a fan. I mix one myself, and it's not near what you would do, but it's wonderful. Now, get back to something you mentioned a minute ago. Aperitivo, am I saying that correctly? Yeah. Is that sort of the Italian version of happy hour?
But a much more civilized approach to the end of the day than the American happy hour. The American happy hour, cheap drinks, let's see how many we can slam before they stop and price goes back up. It's really a culture in Italy. It's a way of life. It's a celebration of the end of the day when friends get together to, like I said, celebrate the end of the day before the evening begins. Hour and 15 minutes. Some lower ABV drinks, always served with food. Always some small plates. Could be charcuterie. It could be nuts and popcorn, but there's always a food element. And like I said, drinks like a Negroni, Aperol Spritz, even a Campari soda or a Garibaldi, all these lower ABV drinks, but it's more about the social than it is about the alcohol.
Okay. Can you make a lower ABV Negroni?
You can if you want to, but I'm not sure why you would.
No, I started to say, why would we do that? I was just, when you said that, I thought, how could you make that a lighter drink? I don't know. Add a little club soda? I don't know what I'm talking about. You tell me.
No, you're absolutely, club soda would stretch the drink. But you got to remember, Joy, you have 15% sweet vermouth in there, so that's a lower ABV. You've got 24% Campari in there. That's a lower ABV. And, you can find some 80 proof, 40% gins. or you could bounce it up to 94 proof gin. But really, it's not a crazy amount of alcohol, but there are some great, like Liar's Mix, some non-alcoholic spirits that you could substitute one of those in, or use all non-alcoholic if you really want to do. But no, I like your idea of a little bit of soda, make it a long drink, stretch it, because there's nothing better than the beautiful marriage of gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth.
I know Campari is not for everyone, but once you develop a taste for that, there's just something about it that is just the most relaxing and enjoyable. Is it your favorite cocktail?
I would say it is definitely my favorite cocktail, yeah. If I was going to the box tomorrow, Joy, I would have a Negroni in my hand. But, yeah, it is just a beautiful, beautiful marriage of flavors. And they're so simple, but yet it becomes so much more than the sum of the parts.
What will you be mixing? Your session is tomorrow. What will you be mixing tomorrow?
Well, you might not be surprised I'll have a Negroni on the menu.
Counting on it.
Everyone's going to get an Aperol Spritz when they first arrive, which, yeah, isn't that such a... I discovered that drink in 2007. I was working over in Venice, and I was out at St. Mark's, sitting out at a cafe, and everyone's drinking these balloon glasses with this orange liquid in it, and I asked the waiter, said, what's everybody drinking? He said, well, that's the national drink. That's a Spritz. And I said, I'll have one. And 3 or 4 later, I was hooked. It was just delicious. And I think it wasn't until 2007 or 8 that Aperol was even available in the United States. So the drink has definitely caught on. If you haven't had one, rush out immediately. Get a bottle of Aperol, Prosecco, and club soda. It's perfect this time of year when the weather gets warm, out by the pool, at the beach, and it just kind of close your eyes and you'll be on the Mediterranean coast.
I'm telling you, they have caught on because I see them so much more often than I used to. And don't forget the orange.
Don't forget the orange.
Yeah.
Campari loves orange. Aperol loves orange. A little note, when I was in Venice, they would also come with a large green olive. And I've never seen that anywhere else.
Really?
And I don't know if it's the saltiness against the bittersweet of the Aperol, but it works. A bite of the olive, a sip of the Spritz, and all's good in the world.
So would you put the olive in the Aperol Spritz? Really? That seems just completely counterintuitive to me.
I couldn't agree more, Joy, but it works. And it's a big green olive. I don't know the type, but it has this pit still in it. So you got to be careful not to bite down. But yeah, you just bite of the olive, sip of the Spritz, and like I said, it's a beautiful combination.
Cal, what was it you mixed over here at the Steel Light booth a few minutes ago?
Well, I've been working with Steel Light now a little over 10 years, developing my line of professional bar tools and also some glassware. So the glass that you got was my fizz glass, which is an old lost and forgotten style of cocktail, and they're served generally without ice and without a garnish. So you want a sexy glass that holds on to the fizz. So you start with the bubbles on the bottom, they work their way through the drink, and it's just happy until the last sip.
And that drink was a...
Gin fizz. A real simple gin fizz. Just lemon juice, simple syrup, and gin, egg white, club soda.
The egg white. Oh, I love the egg white. So what all are you into now? What's new for you? For those of you who don't know, Tony, you started the bar program at, correct me if I'm wrong, Bellagio. And there was the arena, correct? Where all?
Yeah, no, I was in San Francisco working with Harry Denton's at the Starlight Room, and I get a call from the Bellagio, and this is 1998, and I thought it was the craziest idea in the world to move from San Francisco to Las Vegas, but I'm so happy I did. Opened the Bellagio, stayed there 5 years, started the Modern Mixologist company afterwards. Today I'm partners with Shawn McClain at Libertine Social at Mandalay Bay, as well as Highlands in Detroit. You mentioned the arena. I do the drinks for the Golden Knights and at Allegiant Stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I've been working with the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. So I just did several outlets on their new ship, Icon of the Seas, which, if you like cruising, and I mean, it is I've never seen anything quite like Icon of the Seas. So it's it's the largest cruise ship ever launched. So I've got a couple bars that I did on that ship, and I'm now working on their next ship, Utopia of the Seas, which will come out in July. So if you like cruising, let me know.
Just put my name in the hat for that, no doubt. It's no wonder you're hard to catch up with because you've got just a little bit going on. But I do want to give you a shout out, Tony, about a story you told years ago when I first met you about your cousin, Helen, as I recall, in Michigan, and you learned or got the bug, right, for bartending and mixology from her, correct?
Yeah, my cousin Helen David opened the Brass Rail Bar in Port Huron, Michigan in 1937. She was 21 years old. It was a ice cream parlor that her family had. Her father passed away. It was the Great Depression, and her mom said, Helen, we're going to be put out on the street if we don't turn the ice cream parlor into a saloon. And Helen said, Mom, proper ladies don't run saloons. And her mother said, a lady is a lady no matter where you put her, but she's got to have a buck in her pocket. And Helen ran the Brass Rail for nearly 70 years. She passed at the age of 91. She was definitely my mentor and inspiration. And in her memory, I've started the Helen David Relief Fund. And she was a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And the Helen David Relief Fund benefits bartenders going through breast cancer treatment. And one of our big incentives that we do every year during Breast Cancer Awareness Month is our bicycle, Team Happiness bicycle rides around the country. And that's the way we raise funds and awareness for the Helen David. So if anybody listening is a bartender, today we're able to help bartenders going through all kinds of cancer treatment. So we help with all the incidental costs, the rent, the mortgage, anything that needs, co-payments. And so reach out to the United States Bartenders Guild, and we're here to help.
I admire that so much. You have such a big heart, and I love the story about her, and I've seen you do the bike rides. You're quite the athlete. And I think, there are bike teams in and around the Ozarks, too, that have done that, and I remember bringing your name up to one of the hospitality groups. Do you still ride?
Still ride. I haven't been riding. After shaking about 10,000 margaritas, I had to get my shoulder replaced, so I've been off the bike for a little while, but I'm getting back on it now. Gearing up for our rides coming up this October. I know that we're going to be in Galveston. I know that we're going to be in Las Vegas, San Diego, I believe Aspen, and more to come. But again, if you go to the United States Bartenders Guild, or you can go to the modernmixologist.com and you'll start seeing things posted there too.
Very good. You're always welcome in the Ozarks. Tony Abou-Ganim, thank you so much.
Well, Joy, it's a pleasure. And until our next cocktail together, happiness.
Happiness. I will see you tomorrow. I look forward to the Negroni. Have a good one, Tony.
Pleasure.